everybody. Hey, Abby, how's it going?
It's going great. I'm glad that you were able to join us on our first podcast, Moving Parts.
I'm so excited to be a part of your first episode of Moving Parts. Burn Store is very, very humbled to be partnering with you on this great adventure.
Well, I appreciate you guys being a part of it. Really do.
No, super excited. It's like a career highlight for me.
So I really want to start off this first podcast just getting a chance to show our viewers and listeners a little bit of who we are, the goal of the podcast, and what they have to look forward to moving into the future listening to us.
I think that makes great sense, Abby. And I think that our viewers definitely need to know who we're about, what Peacock Premier Properties is all about, who Abby Hamilton is, and of course, who we are at Burn Store Title.
All right. Well, to get us started, we live in Florida. Lots of people are moving here. Lots of people love it. What brought you here?
It's hot.
I know we're moving in the warm season, but
no kidding. I'm born and raised up north. I got to tell you, I totally prefer to sweat than shovel. It's just what it is.
And so, did you have family here at any point? What brought you down to this specific part?
So in 1997, my parents, originally from Philadelphia, retired down here to Punta Gorda. They started out in a little community over off of Jones Loop Road called Blue Heron Pines. It was a golf community, and it just really struck me and my brothers as completely hilarious that my father agreed to buy a piece of property on a golf community. Then we couldn't get him off the golf course. I promise you, my father had the biggest collection of golf balls when they finally moved out of that community.
I'm sure you guys found them all over the place.
We did, and all different colors too. I mean, Florida is great for their communities, their older communities, they're 55 and over, their golfing communities. But Abby, you're local. You've seen this area go kaboom.
Yes. So I was born, I will say I was born and raised in Northport, but then people were like, technically there's not a hospital in Northport. So I was actually born in Sarasota, but my dad was a teacher at Garden Elementary when that was the first and only elementary school in the area. There was 2 stoplights, and to get to Port Charlotte, it only took like 12 minutes from almost Venice, but now that's a long difference now. But it's definitely changed. But there's bittersweet to both. I love seeing it grow. I love all the new businesses coming. I love to see businesses that have been here a long time continue to thrive. But then obviously the wildlife, my heart loves all those things.
Right.
So as long as, we develop in a strategic way to kind of get the best of both worlds.
Right. I mean, being here, disrupting the wildlife, sorry, folks. It's a natural course of life, but I love how the state of Florida preserves so much of those areas. Our state parks are absolutely fabulous down here. Our beaches are beautiful. I really enjoy having my friends and family come down and visit us so that we can show them just how beautiful things are down here. But I gotta tell you, when I first moved down here in the early 2000s, going from where we are in Punta Gorda to where you say you grew up, that was like the other end of the world.
It is. And everyone used to be like, Northport.
What?
That's the boonies. Where is that? And now
The
it's
boonies.
Yeah. And now it's on the map as one of the top places that people are moving to. And it used to be one of the most affordable places. And with prices and everything going up, it's really, made it interesting for our locals here for affordability reasons. But
Yep.
it'll be interesting to see how things play out in the future as we continue to grow.
And that's why I'm so excited about our podcast, because we're going to share with everybody and feature local business owners, why we feel they're relevant to our community, and how they came to be a part of our community, and what their business means to us as business owners ourselves. You and well, I don't own Burn Store, but but still, how it affects our daily lives. And I think that it's going to be very relevant for everybody. Abby, has real estate always been your passion?
Real estate has always been something on my mind. I've done many things. My husband, it'd be funny to say this, because one time we were talking, I was like, I've done this and I've done this. And my parents, for better or worse, said, always keep your options open and take advantage of all the opportunities given to you. So I've always done something. And if I had the opportunity to move and grow in an area I wanted to, I did. And my husband will say the jack of all trades, the master of none.
Yeah, I say that about my husband, so he's in good company.
So I'll tease and laugh about it now. But, I've always had an interest because I've lived here and I've seen it change so much that I always thought it was interesting to see, hey, what land's available? Oh, what places are coming? And so it's always been something I've liked, and I've always liked the idea of doing the fixer-upper route. Obviously, this is not quite the market that I want to be in for that, but eventually that is a road that I like because I love the interior design side of things as well. But my husband is in the construction industry, and when I've had my past careers, we weren't able to connect on that front, but now it's like we can really talk business when we want to, and it makes it interesting. And I knew his business has been around here for many years, and I was going to be here for the long haul. So We're not moving. Our roots are here, and it's like real estate is one of those businesses where the longer you stay, the longer your return is on it.
Correct.
Through your reputation that you build in the community, those relationships you make, and then also your knowledge of the area, which I felt like was something I was strong in growing up here.
I think that's very relevant. I mean, girl next door, real estate girl next door. I think that's all going to be a very relevant topic, theme, if you will, throughout these podcast episodes. So you graduated from Northport High?
Northport High, yep. And I actually went to Venice for a short time. I went to Venice schools actually growing up because, like I said, we didn't really have many school options in our area, and my dad was in education and went to administration through Sarasota County. So I did all that, and then I switched when he changed his positions to admin in Arcadia. I didn't get special busing anymore.
Arcadia.
So it was a jump. It was kind of a lifestyle change to switch to Northport High, but I loved it. I thrived there. I kind of just got involved in everything, the arts, the sports, and where some people say, hey, I only know one friend from high school still today. I know so many, and a lot of us stayed local, and it's great to just kind of see and check in people's lives.
Connecting. And I admire that. There's not a lot of folks that I come into contact with here in our paradise, Southwest Florida, that are local, that grew up here. Coming from Philadelphia myself, growing up inner city, being able to meet somebody that's local and knowledgeable, that knew what things looked like back then, and to see how they've developed over time and what their opinion is of all of that. I think that makes you a more well-rounded real estate agent.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
No
and
problem.
I hope my customers see the value in that as well. So
Excellent.
So moving forward, I know that you stepped into this role and have been doing wonderful things with Burnt Store Title.
Thank
and
you.
I wanted to kind of hear some of your goals move into the future. Like, what are you excited about working towards?
So, let's back that bus up just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I actually came to Burnt Store Title on a fluke, kind of a whim thing. I had, who's one of the people that introduced me to Burnt Store. She's actually now one of my best friends.
Oh, that's awesome.
And she knew I was looking for work, and she's like, oh, you should talk to. And I'm like, no. But what I didn't tell her was I had already been in contact.
Okay.
I was throwing darts at the board one day looking for work, and I'm like, well, I've done real estate. I've been a real estate agent up north, and, I know how the in-between kind of works. I know what the documents look like. Mm-hmm. But it would be I thought it would be very interesting for me, and I love to learn, and I love to teach, to know about the inside, how those transactions totally come together. So throwing darts at a board, I threw my dart at Burnt Store, and lo and behold, our COO, Jessica, gave me a call, and she invited me in for an interview. It was a pretty special interview. And then less than 3 hours later, I was called back in to interview with the owner and CEO of the company. I was like, a girl from coming up north, that's a big deal. That's like, oh, the owner of the company wants to see me. And that was back in right around COVID. Okay. So here comes this man walking in with the 3-piece suit on and nice hair, and he's got this mask on, and I'm like, oh, man, I totally did not dress right for this interview. And we sat and we talked and we laughed, and a connection was formed. So I'm very blessed to say, obviously, I was offered a position right away, and I started processing, which is what we do when we first get a transaction at Burn Store. And so I got to know all the documents. And the position grew from there. And about a year and a half ago, there was a need for somebody to be consistently out in our community. I'd been to several events. We've done a lot of things together as a company. And there just seemed to be a need for one person to be out consistently.
Well, you master that. I
Well,
will say
thanks.
you are such a good support to realtors and to other organizations in the area and giving back in the community, that it's a wonderful trait that you have and that your office
Thank
has.
you.
And it definitely doesn't go unnoticed.
And I appreciate that, but I can't take all of the credit. This is 100% a team effort.
Absolutely.
I feel, again, very blessed and very lucky. You guys will get to hear for yourselves in a few minutes why I get to work with Anthony every day and how it's very entertaining and it's very fulfilling.
Well, you got to make work fun.
It is
think
fun.
So many people, someone said to me when I was working in this one position, I was just overwhelmed with stuff, and they're like, you should be having fun. And that just stuck with me. I'm like, if you're not having fun, granted, some days are hard and some days are rough.
They are.
Absolutely. It's work. It's not like,
Right.
if it was a joy, rainbows, butterflies, it wouldn't be work.
And everybody would be doing it.
Exactly.
Oh, it's all fun.
But it should be fun. And
Right.
you can laugh through the crazy and the chaos.
100%. And I've always said, even counseling my girls growing up, and they're all grown up and they have their own families doing their own things in 2 different countries.
Wow.
I've always said you have to love what you do and do what you love, and then it's not work. It's an adventure.
Yeah. Well, thank you very
You're
much. I
welcome.
appreciate learning a little bit more about you myself, and I hope that our listeners will continue to get little snippets of who we are.
We'll see. I'm very excited for you, Abby, in this adventure. I can't wait to move it forward to our next episode. But hey, folks, we have a special treat for you. Hang on. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Miami, Mr. Anthony Moss, the owner and CEO of Burn Store Title, coming up for your questions.
Are you ready for that grand
Abby's
entrance?
questions.
Well, Anthony, that was quite the introduction.
It sure was. I hope I can live up to every word she said.
Oh, I'm sure you do. It came from the heart, I'm sure.
It did. It did.
So tell us a little bit about who you are and where you came from and how you got into title.
So who I am? Well, I'm Anthony Moss. I'm the CEO and owner of Burn Store Title of Southwest Florida. I came from South Florida, so much like you, I am also a Florida native.
Nice.
Not locally to the area. It's a whole other world down there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Miami. When I was about 18, 19, moved to Broward County and lived there just before I moved to Port Charlotte, which was now close to 4.5 years ago, I want to say.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So title has basically been my whole adult life.
Okay.
It's kind of funny how I fell into it. I was going to school for a law degree.
All right.
No intent on doing anything with real estate whatsoever. The idea was that I wanted to go into corporate law.
Okay.
So I was always...
What triggered that interest? Just
money,
okay.
to be honest.
Hey,
and
I
frank.
mean, that's a drive, so.
Everything that I was told was, when dealing with mergers and acquisitions and that type of law, there's a lot of money that is made in there. So the money was a huge draw for me at the beginning. But then again, I was also told that even with a degree, a lot of attorneys don't want to hire you right out of college.
Okay.
They want to have some experience to back up that paper. So that's kind of how I fell into real estate. I took a job as the backup to a receptionist at a law firm, a real estate law firm in Fort Lauderdale. And honestly, from there, I just kind of climbed the ladder. The attorneys that I had the honor of working with were phenomenal attorneys. As a matter
you have
of
some really good stories from that.
I do. Yeah, they were something. It's four partners, and they were a whole lot of fun. They took this young kid, and just basically took me under their wing and taught me everything that I know as it pertains to, real estate and the title aspect and even the real estate law aspect that I was able to learn with them. And like I said, kind of came in right at the bottom. Within 3 months, I was promoted to a title processor. That position opened up, and I jumped on that. Then there was maybe, I want to say 4 or 5 months after that I was already promoted to a paralegal within
That's
the firm.
awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. I remember working really hard because, funny enough, even though I had never, and that's how things work, right? You never really expect certain things.
Well, it just kind of shows you're on the right direction if all these moving
Moving
parts
parts.
are falling into place.
Right. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Obviously I believe in a higher power, and I believe that everything kind of lined up for me to be exactly where I was meant to be. And it's just been fantastic since then. I was with them for a long time, and then when the market hit a rut in 2008, I ended up getting put to work part-time because we saw a lot of business, especially South Florida was hit real hard with the foreclosures. So I actually took up and got my real estate license.
Okay. I didn't know that about you, so you have a real estate license.
I did. It's voluntary and active now because I don't use it for anything. But I did have my license. I also opened a short sale loss mitigation company.
Okay.
And so it got to the point where when I got my license after, some time doing that, I was actually making more money doing real estate sales than I was at the law firm. And,
Gotta pay the bills.
Right. And not just that, but something had to kind of give because I was working all the time. And so it just made sense financially, like, hey, if I can make this much doing this half-time or part-time, imagine how much I can do if I dedicate my whole
Very true.
life to it. So stepped away from the law firm, got into real estate full time, and that's when I said I got the loss mitigation company set up. We started doing that. Short sales were real big back then. I became more of a listing agent for REOs.
Okay.
Don't like real estate sales. Not my thing. God bless you. Love you guys. I mean, realtors are our fam. That's fantastic. I'm glad that you guys can do it, but that's just not for me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the other aspect with the REOs because I had
It's a whole nother world.
It's a whole other world, right? I had an asset manager that worked Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 in New Jersey or in Texas. I knew she wasn't going to call me on weekends.
Yeah.
I knew she wasn't going to call me after 5.
Many things that, you sign up for when you take the job on. So
yeah, absolutely. And, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot of time. And, like I said, for me, and I'm not a very good salesman.
Well, I was going to say, not to say that. I know that you're available for your agents all the time.
Absolutely.
So,
and that's the difference. I think like you have to have that calling. It has to be something that you really love. And for me, right. And for me, the legal side, the title aspect, that was my calling. That's where I got started in real estate. So maybe that has something to do with it. That's why I just felt like, this was pretty cool because even though, it was real estate sales, but there was the whole foreclosure aspect of it. I'm dealing with attorneys that are handling the foreclosure process. I'm doing cash for keys.
So little things that you loved all the way along.
Right.
And I think that is great that you and Tobybeth both have that background knowledge because it just, in the real estate side or even the attorney side, it's just added backing when you can relate and share your expertise with others or know where we're coming from when we're bringing customers to your business.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it gives us a leg up for sure because it's not just, some person that does title insurance or provides a title commitment or, sits down and does a closing with a client. What we're able to provide is based on the experience and the knowledge that we've acquired throughout the years. And so I think it definitely gives us a leg up on a lot of things. And so I mean, that's from there, once the foreclosures started coming down and the market started to shift back, I was like, I'm good. This isn't for me. I know where I belong. And so I went back to a law firm, not the same law firm. I went to a different law firm and I was the office manager for that law firm for about 5 years. In Fort Lauderdale as well. And that's when I came here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you're here with 3 offices. So
and now I'm here with 3 offices.
Keep your wheels spinning for sure.
Yeah. Never a dull moment, that's for sure.
Well, I think it's important for people to realize too, it's it's all our business is all about relationships. So when we refer customers to you, your office, you're dealing with our customer, but you're also keeping those relationships alive with us and how important. So I think for listeners to know that when we recommend and support our local businesses, there's a lot more behind the scenes. It's not just, passing over a transaction. It's passing over a relationship that's going to fuel more and more relationships.
Absolutely.
And I think you've done a great job building that rapport within the community.
Thanks, Abby.
So you're very welcome.
That.
No, you're very welcome.
No, I always say realtors are the lifeline of our business. Obviously we have other ways of attracting business for our companies, but ultimately the main referral base, if you would, are the agents. And so, it's very important for us as a company to make sure that just like, we depend on, our agents to kind of be that lifeline for us, I want them to feel that the relationship is reciprocated. It's not a one-sided relationship. We appreciate so much the clients that we have, our agent friends that are, loyal to us and that see the value in what it is that we do and what we bring to the table as a title company and as one of their preferred, vendors. And, we, like I said, just want to reciprocate that in a lot of the things that we do. Whether it be, lunch and learns, power hours, as we're calling them now. Now they're power hours. I got to remember that. But yeah, we do power hours. We sponsor broker opens, open houses. We try to come up with some unique, ways to not just, bring out the agent that we're working with or whoever that might be, but also just something new and fresh.
Yeah. And I saw you guys keep up to date with that all the time. I love that open house that you guys are a part of, and the social media aspect that you guys promote things, and then how we fundraise for local families. Like, there's so much that goes. It just makes a career more than that. It's a part of your life, and it makes everything come full circle and so much more enjoyable and meaningful, and gives it a little more purpose.
Absolutely, and it's funny that you say that because that's another one of our core mantras, if you would.
Okay.
Is we're very big about community service, being very involved with our community and the different sections that entails, because a lot of people think, well, you're a title company, so you're primarily going to be doing things for just real estate agents or loan officers or the real estate community as a whole.
Yeah.
But for me and for us as a company, quite frankly, it's beyond that. My biggest thing has always been I want to go directly to the consumer. We obviously need our agent friends, and we're thankful for everything that they do for us, and we want to, like I said, be there for them as well. But coming from humble beginnings, and just like Tobybeth mentioned, she grew up in Philadelphia in the inner city. Like, there's so many things that I've experienced in my life, and I know that she has too, and even the people that work in my company. So many things that we've shared, because even though we're a company, they work for me as their owner or their boss. I also want them to feel that it's beyond that. We're also a family. And just kind of knowing a lot of their backgrounds as well as my own, Tobybeth, there's so many different things that tie us together that make us want to do so much more for those who are in need.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think too, it goes back to that client or customer is not, they're buying a home in this community. They are a part of this community.
Absolutely.
And your paths are going to cross again. That's just how it goes in this world. And that's why I said, that whole treat everyone like you want to be treated is just so true, because
Absolutely.
It comes around full circle in every aspect, whether it's the person helping you with your groceries at the grocery store, to me getting my car washed, to every daily aspect. It's all involved. And then you see those people around because this is home. So
yeah, I mean, it's funny because I always say, it's as a Burnt Store Title as a company as a whole, it's like, my vision is that I don't want to be seen as, oh yeah, that's Burnt Store Title, they do real estate closings. What I want for people to associate when they hear the word or the name Burnt Store Title, I want them to associate that with philanthropic work. I know, oh yeah, they're the guys that, help out and do this or do that. Or, we have an Easter extravaganza that we do every year. And we just had our third one, which was a great success. And we try to pick like different nonprofits or people that are in need that we can collect donations for to help. Just different things that we can do within the community to not really so much make a name for Burnt Store Title, but more so, just to make a name for the community and for those who are underserved or maybe not are underserved.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, it's like what they say. It's like, it's not what you do, it's how you make them feel. Right. And I think that comes back full circle. So, Well, wrapping things up here a little bit.
Yes, ma'am.
We got to go to the other not work side. What are some fun things that people may not know about you? Hidden talents. Know you're multilingual.
I'm an open book, I think. Yeah, I'm bilingual.
Okay.
I have a son.
Okay.
Who is 24 years old. My son has autism.
Okay.
I think some of the people more so in our industry that have seen him out with me at events, they probably know, but I don't know that there's a lot of people that know that. He does live with me. I've had custody of him since he was 5 years old.
Okay.
And he's my world and
That's awesome.
everything in it. And he's a fantastic kid. His name is Adrian.
Very nice.
And
He gets a little spotlight on here. So
he
I'm
sure
excited.
does. Yeah, he is a spotlight for sure in my
That's
life.
very
He
wonderful.
is the light. So
Very cool. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you
you.
coming on here and sharing a little bit about who you are.
Thank you.
And I know that we will continue to get more information from you guys moving forward as we have title tips to include in our future podcast. And appreciate everything you guys do for us.
I appreciate you.
Thank
I can't
you.
wait to see what you do with it. And yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Well, I'm excited.
I am too. Thank you.